Hello everyone, my name is Larseth, and welcome back to episode 5 of my gold making guide in, wow, I guess it's introduction to gold making in World of Warcraft. Ooh, we probably shouldn't go and stand next to Mr. Shouty over here, so let's move out of the way. Right, so this video is going to be on farming, and it's more going to be, you know, what it is, why people do it, what it is useful for, and then a few examples of places that are good to do it. So mainly in this video, I'm not going to be actually showing you it physically myself. I will show you where, I'll show you various bits and bobs, but I won't actually be going out and doing it in this video. Reason being is because I think sometimes it distracts from what I might actually be saying. Whereas here, you know, undivided attention and all stuff like that. So what is farming? Essentially farming is doing a action repeatedly in order to get stuff is basically what it is in the game. That could mean running dungeons repeatedly in order to get either raw gold, transmogs, or recipes, stuff like that. It could mean farming a particular route. So one route I used to do was in Pandaria, in Valley of the Four Winds here. I used to start here and basically go all the way, where was it? I think it was along here, up here, round here, back down here, up round here, and basically do this route all over and over again. And that was for getting ghost iron ore. So I would do that, and there are equivalents for pretty much every single resource in the game, which you can use an add-on called routes to help you decide those farming routes. So yeah, you could do it for a multitude of reasons. You could also do it for pets, is another useful one, which we'll go on to. So farming itself is good for building up starting capital. So like, for example, like on a low level character, when you hit 110, you will have easily a few thousand gold, because just leveling alone gets quite a lot of gold. But I mean, a few thousand gold, it doesn't go very far, especially in Legion where there's a lot of gold sinks. It doesn't go very far. So you can see that you might actually need some way of getting a bit more gold in order so you can, you know, start investing in professions and other ways of, you know, increasing the amount of gold you have. So farming, is a really good way of doing that, because it literally requires no expense other than a repair bill, which you will always pay off. And all it requires, you know, pretty much any decent farm could be done by level 110. Farming is something that has existed since this game's existed. So it's not something that, you know, is difficult to do. So what sort of places can you farm? So one really valuable thing that has always been recommended is to do a lot of the Cataclysm dungeons. So this can be either, you've got Bastion of Twilight in Twilight Highlands, which is in the Eastern Kingdoms. What other ones have you got? You've got, I'm not even sure if you can view it in here, but in Tanaris, in the Caverns of Time, there is a Cataclysm raid. That is the last one, which the name escapes me at the moment. It's the one with Deathwing in. Yeah, I can't remember what it is. That's really annoying. But yeah, there's plenty of Cataclysm raids dotted about, which previously were really good because you got loads of green items which you could disenchant. You got loads of Ember Silk cloth, which is still quite valuable, and loads of other bits and pieces. Just a lot of raw gold mainly. Those were nerfed with a Legion opening. It's become much easier to solo a lot of the raid content in Pandaria. So that could be either the Kunlai vaults, which are just up here. God, my memory goes. There's loads of raids in this place. There's another raid just here. There's another raid here. There's another raid on the Isle of Thunder, which is the Thunder King raid. You don't play this expansion for like, what, a few years, and it all just goes from your head. Or maybe it's just while I'm doing this video, who knows. But another thing that is very lucrative, or can be very lucrative, not so much because of the raw gold that you get from mobs when you kill them, but because of the transmogs that they drop, is a lot of the old world content. So by that I mean it could be stuff like down here in Silithus, you've got the Ruins of Anchorage and the Temple of Anchorage, 2 old raids from vanilla World of Warcraft, which drop a lot of very valuable transmog gear and also recipes, if I recall. The rest of them that are really good to do are a lot of the dungeons from vanilla. So, oops, I clicked on the wrong one. And I clicked on the wrong one again. Zul'Farrak here in Talaris is another really good one to go for. Razorfen Crawl and Razorfen Downs. Oh, I clicked on the wrong one again. I'm not having a very good go at this, am I? So Razorfen Crawl is down here in Southern Barrens, and I believe Razorfen Downs is in Northern Thousand Needles. So those are very good. Maraudon and Alderman. So Maraudon is in Desolus. Where is it? There it is. And Alderman is over here in the Badlands, I believe. Yes, it's up here. And finally, Black Fathom Deeps is quite a good one. That's here in Ashenvale, all the way up in top here. So the reason these are really good is because not so many people do them anymore outside of the look of the group. And even then, you out-level them pretty fast. So, but there's a lot of old recipes. There's a lot of old transmogs, which you could get in there that can sell for quite a lot. That farming for those reasons is perhaps maybe left until you have a bit more money. Because those aren't like instant gains. Like you have to sell those items to make it worthwhile. So to build up capital initially, I would definitely recommend either doing the Cataclysm raids or the Pandaria raids. And the last option I would suggest is doing, well, basically farming for the pets that are on all of these raiding for leeches achievements. So there's now 4 of them. The raiding with leeches, with raiding with leashes, war Wrath of the Lich King achievement, just a few patches ago, I think, or last patch, came out. So you've got all of these pets, which can be sold, especially with the Wrath of the Lich King ones, because this is a relatively new achievement. They're really expensive, some of them. So these can be farmed. Again, it's only Wrath of the Lich King, so anyone that is level 110 can breeze through all of this content. So go out and look on Wowhead, find out where these are farmed. I mean, it's obviously from all the various bosses in these dungeons, as it says here. Go out, find out where they're farmed. And there's obviously the other Raiding with Leashes achievement here. But go out, find where they're farmed, and just do those. If you do those, and that some of these pets are worth at least a few thousand gold, at very least. Some of them are more common than others, obviously. But some of them will probably, I would imagine, in excess of 10,000 gold quite easily. And this is another really good way, especially with some of the maybe Wrath of the Lich King, which is quite funny. I didn't notice that one beforehand. A lot of people farm these for mounts and stuff like that. So invincible off the last boss, the Lich King. So at the same time, not only are you getting chance at a mount, but you're also getting pets as well. So that is really, really good. Where are they? So there is a raiding for leashes for the old world content from classic raids. These ones are not as expensive just because this achievement's been out for quite a while now. As you can see, I got it in 2014. Some of them are still quite expensive. They are much, much easier to get because they're obviously in classic raids. But of course, in classic raids, old world content, there's a lot more sort of world recipes, random recipes you can get, and rare transmogs you can get. All of which, you know, might be sort of diamonds in the rough, if that makes any sense. Last point, I guess, really about farming stuff is you have to balance it against a few other factors. The first is time spent. So if you're going at farming, like, you could quite easily spend hours upon hours, like I used to do in Valley of the Four Winds, just doing laps. Put some music on, do laps, and then you end up with an absolute ton of resources. At the start, that's fine. You know, when you're building up your capital, your starter capital, that's absolutely awesome. But as you move on, you might think, is my time better spent earning gold elsewhere, doing other things? Normally the answer to that is yes, but that largely depends on what exactly you are farming. And I think the only other points, which actually I've sort of already covered, is, yeah, whether you can make more money elsewhere. I've just said that. Competition for routes is another big one. So, as I mentioned about flying around in routes or riding around in routes, mining or herbing specific items, quite often your whole sort of experience could be ruined by competition. So if there's loads of people doing it at the same time, you're not really going to get that big of a return from it. That has been slightly alleviated by the whole cross-realm thing, and like the ability to jump realms, but that's not always 100% reliable. But I think that just about wraps it up. I don't think there's any other points. So this is just a very basic overview. I am going to make some videos a little bit further down the line going into very specific farms and specific items you want to look out for within those farms, because again, you might get an item and you go, what's it worth? My previous video went over what an item is worth, but I'll make another video, other videos for specific farms to give examples. I'll do that a little bit further down the line. I hope this was in some way helpful and not too long and rambling. And if you enjoyed it, please give it a like. It helps immensely. But in the meantime, thank you very much, and I will speak to you in the next one. Take care.